Today, we're diving deep into a topic that affects every single one of us. Stress. Whether it's work deadlines, financial pressures, personal relationships, or just the constant bombardment of modern life, stress has become almost unavoidable. But what if I told you that chronic stress doesn't just make you feel overwhelmed? It literally changes your brain, your body, and your behavior. From memory problems to anxiety, insomnia, heart disease, and even premature aging, the effects of stress are far-reaching and often underestimated. But here's the good news. Science has also discovered powerful ways to reverse or reduce these damages. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how stress impacts your brain and body, chapter by chapter. We'll explore the physical, emotional, and cognitive consequences, and then give you practical, actionable strategies to heal, recover, and thrive. So, grab a notebook, make yourself comfortable, and let's get started. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand stress at a deeper level, but you'll also walk away with tools to regain control of your health and your life. Welcome to Self Unlocked, where science and ancient wisdom unite to help you unlock your true potential. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank you, every subscriber, every viewer who comments, likes, and shares these videos. You're not just watching, you're helping build a community of seekers, thinkers, and transformers exploring the hidden mechanics of the mind, body, and energy. Together, we're learning how thoughts shape reality, how frequencies influence emotion, and how to awaken the true self within. Stay curious, stay conscious, because your journey to self-mastery starts right here. Stress is something everyone experiences, but many people misunderstand what it really is. At its core, stress is your body's natural response to a challenge or threat. It's part of an ancient survival mechanism that has kept humans alive for thousands of years. When faced with danger, like a wild animal in the distance or a sudden accident, your body goes into fight or flight mode. Hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline surge through your system. Your heart rate increases, your senses sharpen, and your muscles tense up. You're ready to either face the threat or escape it. In small doses, stress can actually be beneficial. It can improve your focus, energy, and performance in critical moments. For example, the adrenaline rush you get before giving a presentation, taking an exam, or competing in a sports event can help you perform at your best. This is called acute stress, and it's typically short-lived and manageable. The problem arises when stress becomes chronic, meaning it lasts for weeks, months, or even years. Chronic stress can come from many sources: a high-pressure job, financial worries, ongoing relationship conflicts, or the daily grind of modern life. Unlike acute stress, chronic stress keeps your body in a constant state of alert, which wears down your organs, hormones, and nervous system over time. There are two main types of stress to understand. Acute stress, this is short-term stress that arises from specific events. It is temporary and usually goes away once the challenge passes. Acute stress can even be motivating, sharpening your mind and helping you respond quickly to danger or deadlines. Chronic stress, this is long-term stress that lingers. It's the type that often goes unnoticed because it becomes part of your daily life. Chronic stress can lead to serious health consequences, including high blood pressure, weakened immunity, digestive issues, anxiety, depression, and even changes in the brain. Stress isn't just a psychological experience, it's biological. Your body doesn't know the difference between physical threats, like an approaching predator, and modern psychological threats, like an unpaid bill or a looming work deadline. In both cases, The stress response triggers a cascade of hormonal and neurological changes designed to help you survive. Interestingly, your perception of stress plays a huge role in how damaging it can be. Two people may face the same challenge, but one may thrive while the other struggles. Research shows that believing stress is harmful can worsen its effects, while viewing stress as manageable can actually reduce its impact on the heart, immune system, and mental health. Understanding stress is the first step in controlling it. It's important to recognize that stress itself is not inherently bad. It's the chronic, unmanaged stress that causes real harm. By identifying the sources of stress in your life and understanding how your body reacts, you can take proactive steps to protect your brain, body, and overall well-being. When we think of stress, we often imagine tension, worry, or racing thoughts. But stress doesn't just affect your emotions. It physically changes your brain. Understanding this neurobiology is crucial because it explains why chronic stress can impact your memory, decision-making, and even your personality. At the heart of the stress response is cortisol, often called the stress hormone. When you perceive a threat, your adrenal glands release cortisol, signaling your body to stay alert. Short-term cortisol surges are helpful. They sharpen focus, increase energy, and prepare your brain and body to respond. But when cortisol levels remain elevated due to chronic stress, it begins to have negative effects on several key areas of the brain. 1. The hippocampus, memory and learning. The hippocampus is responsible for forming new memories and consolidating knowledge. Chronic stress and prolonged cortisol exposure can shrink hippocampal neurons, impairing memory and learning. This is why people under constant stress often experience forgetfulness, difficulty concentrating, and brain fog. In extreme cases, prolonged stress may even interfere with neurogenesis, the creation of new brain cells, slowing cognitive recovery. 2. The amygdala, the fear center. The amygdala is your brain's emotional alarm system. Under stress, it becomes overactive, heightening fear and anxiety responses. This explains why chronic stress can make you hypervigilant, irritable, or easily startled. The amygdala also communicates with other brain areas, influencing your mood, behavior, and even social interactions. A stressed amygdala can exaggerate perceived threats, making everyday challenges feel overwhelming. 3. The prefrontal cortex, executive functioning. The prefrontal cortex sits at the front of your brain and governs decision-making, self-control, and rational thinking. Chronic stress can impair its functioning, making it harder to plan, focus, or regulate emotions. Essentially, your brain shifts from careful reasoning to reactive behavior. This is why stressed individuals may make impulsive decisions or struggle with problem solving. 4. Neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers. Stress also disrupts neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA, which regulate mood, motivation, and relaxation. Imbalances can lead to anxiety, depression, and sleep disturbances. Essentially, chronic stress can chemically rewire the brain, creating a cycle where stress fuels negative thoughts, which in turn amplifies stress. 5. Brain plasticity, hope for recovery. The good news is that the brain is highly plastic, meaning it can adapt and recover. Techniques like meditation, physical exercise, adequate sleep, and cognitive therapies can help restore healthy neural connections, reduce amygdala overactivity, and even promote hippocampal neurogenesis. In other words, while chronic stress can damage the brain, intentional healing practices can reverse much of this harm. Understanding the neurobiology of stress makes it clear why chronic stress doesn't just feel bad. It actively reshapes your brain, influences your emotions, and affects your cognitive abilities. The more we recognize these biological mechanisms, the better equipped we are to take concrete steps to protect and heal our brains. Stress doesn't just live in your mind, it travels through your entire body. When your brain perceives a threat, it signals the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals prepare your body for action. Your heart rate increases, blood flows to essential muscles, and your senses sharpen. This fight or flight response is life-saving in short bursts. But when stress becomes chronic, it begins to wreak havoc across multiple systems in your body. The cardiovascular system, heart under pressure. One of the most obvious impacts of chronic stress is on your heart. Cortisol and adrenaline increase heart rate and blood pressure, forcing your cardiovascular system to work harder over time. Chronic stress can lead to hypertension, atherosclerosis, and a higher risk of heart attacks or strokes. Even subtle, long-term stress is linked to inflammation in blood vessels, which accelerates cardiovascular aging. The immune system, when defenses weaken. Initially, stress can enhance immune function, preparing your body to fight infections. But prolonged stress has the opposite effect. Chronic cortisol suppresses immune activity, leaving you more susceptible to colds, flu, and even slower wound healing. It can also contribute to autoimmune conditions by triggering an overactive inflammatory response. Essentially, your body becomes less capable of defending itself while simultaneously inflaming itself from within. The digestive system, gut in turmoil. Stress directly affects your gut. It can alter gut bacteria, slow digestion, and even change nutrient absorption. Common issues include acid reflux, bloating, irritable bowel syndrome, and stomach ulcers. Your gut and brain are tightly connected through the gut-brain axis, meaning chronic stress in the mind can manifest as chronic problems in the digestive system. The musculoskeletal system, tension everywhere. Stress causes muscles to contract and tighten, which over time can lead to chronic pain. Many people under stress experience tension headaches, back pain, or jaw clenching. Persistent muscle tension not only causes discomfort, but also signals your body to remain in a constant state of readiness, creating a vicious cycle of stress and pain. The endocrine system, metabolism, and hormones. Cortisol affects your metabolism and insulin regulation. Prolonged stress can lead to weight gain, increased abdominal fat, and insulin resistance, which raises the risk of type 2 diabetes. Hormonal imbalances also impact reproductive health, sleep cycles, and energy levels. Skin, hair, and aging, the visible signs. Stress leaves visible marks on your body too. It can trigger acne, eczema, hair thinning, and premature graying. Chronic stress accelerates telomere shortening, which is a biological marker of aging. In other words, stress literally ages you faster at a cellular level. The whole body connection. Stress is not isolated to one system, it is a whole body phenomenon. The heart, immune system, digestive system, muscles, hormones, and even your skin are all interconnected. When stress persists, these systems begin to interact in ways that amplify damage, making it harder for the body to heal naturally. Understanding these physical effects highlights why stress management isn't optional. It's essential for long-term health and longevity. Managing stress effectively can protect your heart, boost immunity, improve digestion, reduce pain, and even slow aging. Stress doesn't just affect your body, it has a profound impact on your mental health, often in ways we don't immediately recognize. While it's normal to feel overwhelmed occasionally, chronic stress can interfere with thought patterns, emotions, and overall cognitive function, creating a cycle that is difficult to break. Understanding these effects is crucial for regaining control over your mind and well-being. Anxiety, the overactive alarm system. Chronic stress keeps your brain in a heightened state of alert, primarily through the amygdala, the fear center of the brain. This overactivity can make you constantly anxious, even when there's no immediate danger. Everyday situations, like social interactions, work tasks, or minor inconveniences, can feel overwhelming or threatening. Over time, persistent anxiety can interfere with sleep, focus, and decision-making, significantly lowering quality of life. Depression, the emotional weight of stress. Long-term stress affects neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which regulate mood, motivation, and reward. When these chemical systems are disrupted, you may experience persistent sadness, low motivation, or hopelessness. Classic signs of depression. Chronic stress can also shrink the hippocampus, reducing your brain's ability to regulate emotions, making it harder to bounce back from negative experiences. Cognitive impairments, brain fog, and memory issues. Stress directly affects the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for executive functions like planning, focus, and self-control. High cortisol levels can impair this region, leading to difficulty concentrating, forgetfulness, and mental fatigue. You may find yourself struggling to remember simple tasks or making impulsive decisions. Classic signs that stress is disrupting your cognitive abilities. Sleep disorders, restless nights. Sleep is essential for mental and physical health, yet chronic stress often interferes with quality sleep. Racing thoughts, anxiety, or physical tension can make it difficult to fall asleep or stay asleep. Poor sleep, in turn, exacerbates stress, creating a vicious cycle where your brain and body never fully recover. Over time, this contributes to mood disorders, weakened immunity, and even cognitive decline. Emotional dysregulation, mood swings, and irritability. Chronic stress makes it harder to regulate emotions. You may notice increased irritability, impatience, or emotional outbursts. Even minor inconveniences can trigger disproportionately strong reactions. This is because stress amplifies the activity of the amygdala while suppressing the prefrontal cortex, making it difficult to respond calmly and rationally. The vicious cycle. The effects of stress on mental health often create a feedback loop. Anxiety and depression can increase perceived stress, which further impairs cognitive function and emotional stability. Over time, this cycle can feel overwhelming and inescapable. Recognizing the signs early, such as persistent irritability, sleep issues, or difficulty concentrating, is key to breaking this pattern. Hope through intervention. The brain is plastic, meaning it can adapt and recover. Techniques like mindfulness, meditation, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, physical exercise, and proper sleep can reduce stress, restore neurotransmitter balance, and repair neural connections. With consistent practice, even severe stress-related mental health effects can improve dramatically. Stress doesn't just make life harder. It can rewrite how your brain functions, affecting every decision, thought, and emotion. The good news is that with awareness and intentional strategies, it's possible to restore mental clarity, emotional balance, and resilience. Inflammation is your body's natural defense mechanism. When you're injured or infected, your immune system releases chemicals called cytokines to fight off threats and repair damage. This acute inflammation is beneficial. It helps you heal and protects your body. But chronic stress creates persistent, low-grade inflammation, even when there's no real injury or infection. This is sometimes called silent inflammation because it quietly damages your tissues, organs, and even your brain over time. How stress triggers inflammation. Stress activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, HPA axis, a central stress response system. The HPA axis signals your adrenal glands to release cortisol. Short-term cortisol can reduce inflammation, but chronic stress disrupts this balance, leading to an overproduction of pro-inflammatory cytokines. Essentially, your immune system is constantly in overdrive, attacking your own tissues and leaving your body vulnerable to disease. Health consequences of stress-related inflammation. The effects of chronic inflammation are far-reaching. Cardiovascular disease. Inflammation can damage blood vessels, contribute to plaque buildup, and increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Diabetes and metabolic disorders. Persistent inflammation interferes with insulin signaling, raising the risk of type 2 diabetes and obesity. Autoimmune conditions. Overactive immune responses can trigger diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and inflammatory bowel disease. Mental health disorders. Inflammation in the brain is linked to depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline, showing how tightly stress, immune function, and mental health are connected. Inflammation and aging. Chronic stress-related inflammation also accelerates cellular aging. Inflammatory chemicals can damage DNA, proteins, and cell membranes, while stress shortens telomeres, the protective caps on your chromosomes. Shorter telomeres are strongly associated with aging, chronic disease, and even early mortality. This is one reason chronic stress literally makes the body age faster. The brain-body connection. The impact of stress and inflammation isn't limited to the body, it extends to the brain. Neuroinflammation can impair learning, memory, and emotional regulation, contributing to cognitive decline and mental health disorders. In other words, stress doesn't just make you feel bad. It actively rewires your brain while harming your body. The path to healing. The good news is that stress-induced inflammation is reversible. Research shows that consistent lifestyle and behavioral interventions can reduce inflammation and repair damage. Exercise. Regular physical activity lowers pro-inflammatory cytokines and supports healthy immune function. Nutrition. Anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, berries, nuts, and omega-3 fatty acids reduce systemic inflammation. Mindfulness and meditation. These practices calm the nervous system, reduce cortisol levels, and decrease inflammatory markers. Sleep. Quality sleep is essential for regulating immune function and reducing inflammation. Stress management. Techniques such as deep breathing, yoga, journaling, and social support break the cycle of chronic stress. By addressing both stress and inflammation, you protect your heart, brain, immune system, and overall longevity. Healing is possible, but it requires intentional, consistent action. One of the most common signs of chronic stress is constant fatigue. You might feel drained even after sleeping, struggle to complete everyday tasks, or find yourself reaching for caffeine just to keep going. Chronic stress forces your body to remain in a state of alert, depleting your energy reserves over time. Sleep disturbances. Stress disrupts your sleep in multiple ways. You may struggle to fall asleep, wake up frequently during the night, or feel unrest even after 7 to 8 hours of sleep. This sleep disruption worsens stress, creating a vicious cycle where fatigue and tension feed each other. Digestive problems. Your gut and brain are closely connected through the gut-brain axis, so stress often shows up in your digestive system. Chronic stress can cause bloating, stomach pain, indigestion, diarrhea, constipation, or flare-ups of conditions like IBS. Persistent digestive issues are often overlooked as stress symptoms, but they're a red flag that your body is struggling. Frequent headaches and muscle tension. Stress causes your muscles to tense up, often leading to chronic headaches, jaw clenching, neck stiffness, and back pain. You might notice yourself rubbing your temples or shoulders throughout the day. This tension is a direct physical manifestation of your nervous system being stuck in fight or flight mode. Mood changes and emotional outbursts. Chronic stress can alter your emotional regulation. You may notice increased irritability, impatience, mood swings, or feelings of overwhelm over minor situations. Emotional reactivity is a signal that your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, is hyperactive, while your prefrontal cortex struggles to maintain balance. Cognitive difficulties. Stress can impact your brain's ability to function efficiently. Common cognitive signs include brain fog, forgetfulness, difficulty concentrating, and poor decision-making. You might feel like you're scattered or unable to focus, which can affect your productivity at work and home. Weakened immunity. If you're getting sick more often, it could be a sign of chronic stress. Long-term cortisol elevation suppresses your immune system, making you more susceptible to colds, infections, and slow healing. Even minor illnesses can linger longer than usual under chronic stress. Behavioral changes. Stress often drives subtle changes in behavior. You may notice overeating or undereating, increased alcohol or caffeine consumption, social withdrawal, or neglecting self-care routines. These behaviors are coping mechanisms, but they can inadvertently worsen stress and its effects. Skin and hair issues. Physical signs of stress can also appear externally. Chronic stress can trigger acne, eczema, hair thinning, and premature graying. Stress accelerates inflammatory processes and hormonal imbalances, which can manifest visibly on your skin and hair. Feeling overwhelmed and out of control. Finally, a mental and emotional sense of being overwhelmed is one of the clearest signs. If small challenges feel impossible, or you feel constantly on edge, your body and mind are signaling that stress has crossed into the chronic zone. Recognizing these signs is the first step in regaining control. If you identify multiple warning signals, it's time to take intentional steps to reduce stress, protect your health, and rebuild resilience. Meditation is one of the most well-researched ways to combat stress. By focusing your attention and cultivating mindfulness, you reduce amygdala overactivity and improve prefrontal cortex function. Regular practice lowers cortisol levels, improves focus, and promotes emotional regulation. Even 10 to 15 minutes a day of mindful breathing or guided meditation can create noticeable changes in mood and mental clarity. Deep breathing, the power of your breath. Breathing techniques such as diaphragmatic breathing or box breathing activate the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode. Slow, controlled breath signal your brain that it's safe, lowering heart rate, reducing blood pressure, and calming stress hormones. This simple practice can be done anywhere, anytime, and works immediately to dissolve tension and promote relaxation. Yoga and stretching, releasing physical tension. Yoga combines movement, breath, and mindfulness to release both physical and mental tension. Stress often manifests in tight muscles, poor posture, and headaches, and gentle stretching or yoga poses help release these areas. Additionally, yoga improves flexibility, balance, and body awareness, while also reducing cortisol and enhancing endorphin production, which naturally elevates mood. Progressive muscle relaxation, tension awareness. Progressive muscle relaxation, PMR, involves tensing and then releasing different muscle groups systematically. This technique increases body awareness, helps you identify areas holding stress, and trains your body to relax intentionally. Studies show PMR can reduce anxiety, improve sleep, and lower blood pressure. It's especially effective when combined with mindful breathing. Visualization, mental rehearsal for calm. Visualization, or guided imagery, involves picturing calming or positive scenes in your mind, such as a quiet beach or forest. This practice reduces amygdala activity and enhances parasympathetic response. Visualization can also be used to mentally rehearse handling stressful situations calmly, boosting confidence and resilience. Journaling, emotional release and clarity. Writing down your thoughts and emotions helps process stress and release pent-up feelings. Journaling can reduce rumination, improve mood, and clarify problem-solving strategies. Even a few minutes a day of reflective writing allows your brain to externalize stressors, creating a sense of control and mental relief. Nature therapy, reconnecting with the outdoors. Spending time in natural environments reduces cortisol levels, lowers heart rate, and improves overall mood. Walking in parks, hiking, or simply sitting in a quiet green space allows your nervous system to shift from fight or flight to rest and digest, creating a natural anti-stress effect. Combining techniques for maximum effect. The most effective stress reduction strategies combine multiple approaches. For example, you might start with deep breathing, move into gentle yoga, finish with meditation or visualization, and reflect through journaling. Over time, these practices retrain your brain and body to respond to stress more calmly, promoting long-term resilience. Mind-body techniques are powerful because they address both mental and physical dimensions of stress simultaneously. Unlike medications that temporarily mask symptoms, these practices reprogram your nervous system, reduce inflammation, restore hormonal balance, and improve emotional regulation. Prioritize sleep, recharge your nervous system. Sleep is the cornerstone of stress management. Chronic stress often disrupts sleep, but lack of restorative sleep further elevates cortisol, creating a vicious cycle. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. Create a bedtime routine, reduce screen time before bed, and keep your sleep environment dark and cool. Quality sleep helps your brain consolidate memories, regulate emotions, and repair physical damage caused by stress. Nutrition fuels your body and calm your mind. What you eat directly impacts your stress levels. Highly processed foods, sugar, and excess caffeine can increase inflammation and cortisol, while nutrient-rich meals support brain and body health. Focus on anti-inflammatory foods such as leafy greens, berries, nuts, seeds, fatty fish, and whole grains. Staying hydrated and eating balanced meals stabilizes blood sugar, which reduces irritability and energy crashes often caused by stress. Exercise, move to release stress. Physical activity is one of the most effective natural stress relievers. Exercise reduces cortisol, releases endorphins, and improves blood flow to the brain. Both cardio and strength training are beneficial, while activities like walking, swimming, or yoga also enhance mindfulness and relaxation. Even short daily sessions, like a 20-minute walk, can significantly lower stress hormones and improve mood. Social connections, strength in relationships. Humans are social beings, and strong social support is critical for stress resilience. Sharing your thoughts with trusted friends, family, or support groups reduces perceived stress and promotes emotional healing. Positive social interactions release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which counteracts cortisol and promotes calmness. Reduce digital overload, create boundaries. Constant notifications, emails, and social media can amplify stress and distract your brain from rest. Set boundaries by designating tech-free times, turning off notifications, or limiting social media use. Disconnecting from the digital world allows your nervous system to recover and reset, helping you stay focused and less reactive. Time management, reduce overwhelm. Poor organization and unrealistic schedules contribute heavily to chronic stress. Using tools like to-do lists, calendars, and prioritization techniques can help break tasks into manageable steps. Learning to say no and delegating responsibilities also protects your time and energy, reducing the feeling of constant overwhelm. Incorporate relaxation rituals daily. Even brief daily rituals, such as tea time, a warm bath, listening to music, or deep breathing exercises, can signal your body to relax. Consistency is key. These small pockets of calm throughout the day counteract stress and promote long-term mental and physical health. Avoid unhealthy coping mechanisms. Stress often drives behaviors like smoking, alcohol overconsumption, emotional eating, or binge-watching for hours. While they may provide temporary relief, they increase stress in the long run by affecting hormones, sleep, and mental clarity. Replacing these habits with healthier alternatives, like exercise, meditation, or creative hobbies, reduces stress and improves overall well-being. By aligning your lifestyle with stress-reducing practices, you create a foundation for a resilient mind and body. These adjustments complement mind-body techniques, reinforcing a holistic approach to healing. Cognitive reframing change how you see stress. One of the most powerful tools is cognitive reframing, which involves changing your interpretation of stressful situations. Instead of viewing stress as purely negative, consider it a signal for growth or action. Research shows that people who perceive stress as manageable have lower cortisol levels and reduced heart risks, even under high-pressure situations. For example, a tight deadline can be reframed as an opportunity to improve focus and productivity rather than a threat. Mindfulness and present moment awareness. Stress often comes from worrying about the future or ruminating on the past. Mindfulness encourages you to anchor your attention in the present moment. By observing thoughts without judgment, you reduce overthinking, anxiety, and emotional reactivity. Daily mindfulness practice, even for 5 to 10 minutes, can strengthen prefrontal cortex activity, which improves decision-making, self-regulation, and emotional balance. Gratitude practice. Shift your mental focus. Gratitude has a remarkable effect on stress and emotional well-being. Keeping a gratitude journal or simply acknowledging daily positives shifts your brain's focus from threats to blessings. Studies show that gratitude reduces cortisol, improves mood, and even strengthens immune function. By consciously focusing on what's going well, you create a positive feedback loop that buffers stress. Emotional labeling, name to tame. Simply identifying and labeling your emotions, like saying, "I feel anxious" or "I feel frustrated," activates the prefrontal cortex, helping regulate amygdala-driven responses. This technique reduces the intensity of negative emotions and prevents stress from escalating. Emotional labeling is especially effective during moments of acute stress, giving you a tool to pause and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Problem-solving strategies take control. Feeling helpless is a major driver of stress. Active problem-solving restores a sense of control. Break challenges into manageable steps, prioritize tasks, and set realistic goals. Tackling small wins boosts confidence, reduces anxiety, and interrupts the cycle of stress-induced rumination. Self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Chronic stress is often worsened by self-criticism. Practicing self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness you would a friend, reduces cortisol levels, improves emotional resilience, and encourages healthier coping behaviors. Simple practices include positive self-talk, reframing failures as learning opportunities, and allowing yourself rest without guilt. Cognitive behavioral techniques. Rewire your mind. Cognitive behavioral strategies, CBT, focus on identifying distorted thought patterns and replacing them with healthier perspectives. For example, transforming "I can't handle this" into "I can take one step at a time" reduces mental stress and improves emotional regulation. CBT is backed by decades of research as one of the most effective approaches for anxiety, depression, and chronic stress. 8. Social and emotional intelligence manage relationships. Strong emotional intelligence helps you navigate conflicts and social pressures, which are major stress triggers. By improving empathy, communication, and emotional awareness, you reduce interpersonal stress and foster supportive relationships. Healthy social connections act as a buffer against chronic stress, enhancing both mental and physical health. By integrating these cognitive and emotional strategies, you train your mind to respond to stress with awareness, calm, and resilience. When combined with mind-body practices and lifestyle adjustments, they create a holistic defense against the damaging effects of chronic stress. Develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset, popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, is the belief that challenges are opportunities for learning rather than threats. When you adopt this mindset, stressful situations become chances to develop new skills, improve adaptability, and increase confidence. Research shows that individuals with a growth mindset experience lower stress levels, greater motivation, and better problem-solving abilities. Consistent mind-body practices. Daily routines that combine mindfulness, meditation, yoga, or deep breathing create a nervous system that is calm, adaptive, and ready to handle stress. Over time, these practices strengthen parasympathetic activity, lower chronic cortisol levels, and improve emotional regulation. The key is consistency. Small daily practices are more effective than sporadic, intensive sessions. Strong lifestyle foundations. Sleep, nutrition, physical activity, and social connection aren't optional. They are core pillars of stress resilience. High-quality sleep restores brain and body function. Balanced nutrition fuels optimal performance. Exercise strengthens physical and mental health, and positive social relationships provide emotional support. Maintaining these pillars creates a buffer that allows you to recover quickly from stressful events. Emotional awareness and regulation. Resilient people are not immune to stress. They feel emotions fully but manage them effectively. Emotional awareness allows you to identify early signs of stress, while regulation strategies like deep breathing, cognitive reframing, or journaling prevent emotions from spiraling. Practicing emotional intelligence also strengthens your relationships, which acts as an additional protective factor. Cognitive flexibility. Stress resilience requires mental adaptability. Cognitive flexibility is the ability to shift perspectives, adjust plans, and respond creatively to challenges. People with high cognitive flexibility are less likely to feel overwhelmed by unexpected stressors and more likely to find solutions rather than fixate on problems. Practices like problem solving, learning new skills, or engaging in creative hobbies improve this flexibility over time. 6. Purpose and meaning. Having a clear sense of purpose or personal mission dramatically improves stress resilience. Purpose helps you contextualize challenges, endure discomfort, and stay motivated, even in difficult circumstances. Whether it's career goals, personal growth, family, or spiritual practice, a meaningful focus provides a why that strengthens your capacity to manage stress. Embrace recovery and rest. Resilience isn't just about action, it's also about recovery. Allowing time for rest, hobbies, and self-care is critical. Recovery periods reduce cortisol, repair tissues, and restore cognitive and emotional balance. Overworking yourself or neglecting downtime erodes resilience, leaving you more vulnerable to chronic stress. Gradual stress exposure. Interestingly, controlled exposure to stress can train your body and mind to handle future stress more effectively. Athletes, performers, and high-pressure professionals often use this principle, gradually increasing stress challenges in a safe environment. Over time, this strengthens physiological and psychological adaptability. Build a support system. Long-term resilience is not built in isolation. Relationships with supportive friends, family, mentors, or communities provide emotional backing, advice, and practical help during stressful periods. Social support reduces perceived stress, improves coping strategies, and fosters a sense of belonging, lifelong learning, and reflection. Finally, resilient individuals continually reflect on experiences, learn from mistakes, and adapt strategies. Stress resilience is a dynamic skill. It evolves as life circumstances change. Regular reflection, journaling, and self-assessment keep you aware of your stress patterns and help you implement adjustments proactively. Stress is unavoidable, but its damaging effects on the brain and body are not irreversible. By understanding the science behind stress, recognizing the signs, and implementing proven strategies, you can take control of your health and well-being. Remember, healing isn't about eliminating stress completely. It's about managing it effectively, recovering quickly, and building long-term resilience. Incorporate mind-body techniques, lifestyle adjustments, cognitive strategies, and social support to reduce cortisol, repair your nervous system, and regain balance. Start small. Even a few minutes of meditation, a short walk, or journaling each day can have a profound impact over time. Your brain and body are remarkably resilient, and with intentional practice, you can turn stress from a destructive force into an opportunity for growth, clarity, and health. Take control today. Your future self will thank you.